I am at a loss here. Everyone here has lost it. I'm not sure what to do here. If anyone has any suggestions on how to approach this, I'd be very grateful. This all started last week. Every year I return to my hometown to celebrate my mother's birthday. Well, I visit multiple times per year, but this recent birthday trip is where things started going south. For context, my mother raised me and my older brother Anthony single-handedly when my douchebag dad up and left for his 21-year-old receptionist when I was 2 and Anthony was 6. Our mother has always worked incredibly hard to ensure we never went without. She has sacrificed so much and did it with a smile on her face. The woman only knows grace. She is all that is good in the world, and all three of us have a very close relationship. She lives in a village that's not so small that everyone knows each other's business, but also doesn't have the same facilities you get in the big cities. She still lives in the same house I grew up in, but both myself and Anthony moved to a city nearby for work around 5 and 7 years ago respectively. We have a family tradition where all three of us get together in our family home, welcomed by her warm smile and a huge hug. Our mother prepares a large pot of beef stew. We watch some home videos from our childhood, then sit out back by the fire pit and laugh, joke and reminisce, maybe throw in a game or two of charades. This may sound basic, but it's so full of laughter and joy for us. We have done this every year for as long as I can remember, except this time, it didn't quite go like that. Myself and Anthony traveled back together and stopped off to get some fresh flowers for her on the day. When we got to the register, flowers in hand, the cashier was acting really strange and started pushing for the sale of some sort of juice, talking like she had memorized a script, so monotonous it was almost robotic. I zoned out halfway through the speech. Honestly, we continuously declined the juice and left with the flowers, thinking it was a little strange and oversteppy, as Anthony put it, to not accept the first no. We finally got to our mom's house, excited for the night ahead and eager in anticipation for her questions about our current affairs, awaiting her to shroud us with love and affection. This time though, me and Anthony knocked on the door to the tune of "Happy birthday to you" as usual. However, when she opened the door, instead of her usual "my babies," she said, "Come in. I have something really exciting to tell you." She was so excited in her demeanor, but her voice was void of any emotion, very monotonous, and not at all like our mom, who was usually quite the character. This, coupled with the fact that the initial hug where she would usually throw herself upon us at first glance never happened, me and Anthony shared a mutual glance of surprise, but didn't think too much of it. You know what they say about hindsight. As we entered the house, there were boxes upon boxes sprawled out across every surface. Now for context, this lady is usually very house proud. The house looks like a showroom every time you enter, so this clutter struck me as odd, but again I didn't think much of it, assuming she had gone a little crazy after discovering Amazon Prime delivers in the village. We are all guilty of it, especially after the virus. Normally at this point we are greeted with a drink. However, this time, no drink. Again, not a big deal, but enough for us to wonder why she was acting out of the ordinary. The subsequent conversation went like this: Anthony, no pineapple drinks. Mother, what if I told you you could lose up to 6 pounds a week by drinking this new pineapple juice? Its new and improved formula is packed with 33 active ingredients, and it's so easy to prepare. Simply empty the contents of the sachet into a cup of cold water and mix. It's supercharged with vitamins and minerals, and you can even try the first drink absolutely free with a 30-day money-back guarantee on your subscription if you don't lose any weight. Anthony, what are you talking about? Mother, XUXU juice. It's revolutionary. Join the XUXU crew today. Get paid to lose weight. If I can do it, you can too. For just $34.99 you could get 4 weeks supply of XUXU juice in our mind-boggling introductory offer. Tempting, I thought so. You can also get a 10% discount on any future boxes you order for each person you refer to the XUXU crew. At this point, Anthony and I are exchanging a glance of vague recognition that this was the same speech we had heard 30 minutes ago in the store. Me, I'm okay mom, did you join an MLM? Anthony, I don't know what's happening right now, I'm so hungry I can't even see. Can we have the stew now? Mom, no stew today my good sir. For today we feast on the nutrients packed in the new and improved XUXU juice formula. She then proceeds to pour 3 of these juice things out into glasses and insist we do a toast to the power of XUXU. Anthony, and I just looked at each other with bewilderment. The juice was gross, by the way. Usually we would be eating stew and watching home movies by now, but the realization that the boxes all over the house and blocking the TV were clearly sachets of some fad juice in ridiculous quantities, it just unnerved me. Mom, now we have had the juice, can we go and sit by the fire pit and catch up? Mom, sure sweetie, let's go. Me to Anthony, the first normal thing she's said so far. So we go outside and sit by the fire pit. We resume a conversation as if none of that juice stuff happened, and everything was back to normal for an hour or two, until Anthony very stupidly suggested charades. I think you know where this is going. After 3 rounds of charades, all of Mom's answers being the stupid juice, Anthony had drawn the line. I couldn't blame him. I was getting hangry too, so we decided to head to the kitchen and prepare something to eat. Only when we opened the cupboards, every conceivable space was full to the brim with the stupid juice sachets. We decided to drive into the village center and hope there was still something open for us to get some food before Anthony lost his mind too. We found the local pizza shop was open. We praised the Lord and entered. Jeff was the owner of the store. It was a family-owned business and was one of 2 pizza places in the village. Jeff had always been so kind to us and our mother over the years. We ordered 2 large pizzas and a large fries. Jeff, any drinks with that? No thanks, Jeff. I think my mom might have a little bit of juice at home. Anthony, that's not funny. Jeff, if it's juice you're after, try the new and improved XUXU juice. It's packed with 33 active ingredients, and our flavor experts have released 2 new flavors for your and Joe. Anthony, for the love of all that is holy, Jeff, please make the pizzas. Jeff, oh, okay. Sorry, Jeff, it's been a long night and we are just very hungry. Jeff, if you're looking to suppress your appetite, drink XUXU juice. You won't feel as hungry. For just $34.99 you could get 4-week supply of XUXU juice in our mind-boggling introductory offer. Tempting. I thought so. You can also get a 10% disc. Jeff, I'm gonna stop you there, buddy. We just want the pizzas, please. And thank you. We will wait outside. The pizzas finally came, with Jeff's juice referral code highlighted in multiple places on each box. We got back to Mom's house and found her laid on the kitchen floor surrounded by unopened juice sachets, her mouth curled up into a weird, abnormally stretched grin, maniacally laughing. Anthony, being far too hungry to deal with this, went to sit in the car and eat the pizza, leaving me to deal with this obvious mental breakdown. I knocked on the door of her next door neighbor, Mrs. Battersby, to ask if she could please call the emergency services, as my battery had died a little while ago, and I knew better than to bother Anthony when he's in this mood. Upon answering the door, her hands were covered in white powder, as was her mouth, with the same unnaturally wide grin on her face as my mother had, so I noped out of there pretty fast. I went to the car to grab Anthony's phone to call, throwing caution to the wind. Luckily the call went through, and it was refreshing to talk to someone who wasn't talking about juice. They sent over some officers to do a welfare check and assess the situation. I finally sat back and grabbed a slice of pizza whilst I waited for them to arrive. Shortly after this, they turned up and approached me outside the garden gate. I began explaining to the officers the scene that was in the house, although they seemed to be staring right through me, so I wasn't even sure they were listening. They didn't say a word or show any sort of acknowledgement that I was standing there talking to them. When I had finished my recollection of events, they walked into the property in silence. 15 minutes later, an ambulance arrived, and the officers took my mom into the ambulance. Once she was inside, still maniacally laughing with hands full of juice sachets, I tried to speak to the officers, but they too had the same wide grin etched across their face. At this point, I have passed the stage of terrified and gone straight through to anger and frustration, so hopped in Anthony's car and followed the ambulance, all the while explaining to Anthony what had unfolded in the past 20 minutes. They arrived at a hospital and slipped in following the officers to a ward that was on the 4th floor. It was eerily dark and quiet until we walked past each room. The person in each room started reciting the XUXU juice script in a canon effect. As we moved through the hallway, we saw them enter a room full of what I assume were doctors and nurses, all of whom had the same grin and a cup of juice in hand. I sent Anthony to go and speak to the receptionist on level 1 as she did not have the grin when we first entered the building, whilst I stayed and kept an eye on what was happening in that room. He was gone for all of about 6 minutes, but when he returned he said maybe we should try the juice. It is packed with 33 active ingredients, and the flavor experts have released 2 more flavors for our enjoyment, followed by his lips slowly curling into an unnaturally big grin. So naturally I ran as fast as my stubby little legs would carry me back to the car and locked the doors. Does anyone have any ideas what the fluff is going on here, or how I can snap them out of this weird MLM trance? I have called the police, get the same speech. I have spoken to passers-by who, you guessed it, gave the same speech. I'm truly at a loss here, and as I'm sitting in this car, all I can think about is how revolutionary XUXU juice is. It does have 33 active ingredients, and is supercharged with vitamins and minerals with 2 brand new flavors for just $34.99.